Welcome back to Steelers Daily. I'm your host, Deke, and we got more offseason headlines to go over today. And the first bit of information we're going to go over, it's kind of spicy. Coming from a Rooney member, went on, I don't even know how people find some of this stuff, to be honest with you. So this is Patrick Rooney Jr. He went on, let me pull it up because I don't even know what podcast or live show this is. I've never heard of it before. He went on the Palm Beach Kennel Club show, and I did some research on what it is. I guess it's like a sports gambling, like sports pick show based out in Palm Beach, Florida. So Patrick Rooney Jr., who doesn't have any direct affiliation with the Steelers right now, but is a cousin to the Rooney family, and I believe cousin to Art Rooney II, like the owner. That's his ties, I guess. The family like tree, if you will. He goes on the Palm Beach Kennel Club podcast, this Palm Beach Kennel Club show, and had some things to say about the Steelers and how they've been handling their offseason. And this was the first headline. Doesn't feel like the Steelers should pay TJ Watt. In fact, takes it a step further and says it's absolutely insane for the Steelers to do that. So let's react to what Patrick Rooney Jr. has to say, even though, again, he has no direct affiliation. It's been making headlines. His last name is Rooney, so there is some weight to what he has to say about the Steelers organization because he is Rooney. Says TJ is a great player, a great Steeler, but it's insane to pay him anything right now. Absolutely insane. He's 31 years old. But again, if you're going all in this year, then you're going to have to re-sign him. You're making moves right now that you're trying to do something this year. That, to me, based on anything you've seen the last few years, seems insane. So let me go over this again. He's 31 years old. But again, if you're going in, so he's cool with the Steelers paying TJ Watt because it helps them win for this year and it aligns with the message that the Steelers are all in. And that's something I've been saying. If you're going all in this year, then you're going to have to re-sign him. You're making moves right now that you're trying to do something this year. That, to me, based on anything you've seen the last few years, seems insane. So he's saying, based off what the Steelers think of themselves and the moves that they've made this offseason, if you want the messaging to be cohesive, then you sign TJ Watt because, as I've said, you're not going to get anyone in a trade of proper replacement value for TJ Watt to help you win this season and try to get back to a Super Bowl this season. You're just not at this point in the offseason. If you did it before the draft, you did it earlier in free agency, maybe. Still probably unlikely just because of who TJ Watt still is, even though he's hitting 30 and felt like he lost some steam at the end of last season. TJ Watt is still, he's in the upper echelon. He's elite. We know who TJ Watt is. But he feels like the Steelers are deceiving themselves by thinking that we actually have a chance this year. That, to me, based on anything you've seen the last few years, seems insane. Man, that's tough. That's absolutely tough. But my thinking is this. What would have been insane is for us to just run it back the same way we've been doing it. So, I don't know, is he trying to say what we've been saying starting at the beginning of this offseason? That is, Mike Tomlin's been the consistent theme over these last 7-8 years of playoff failure and not living up to the Steelers standard. I mean, he's not really saying that, but to me, the insanity would have been just to run it back the same way that we did last year and the same way we've been doing it for the last 2-3 years. No, we made some wholesale big time changes. So there is a reason, in my opinion, for the Steelers to feel like there's hope and there is a chance because we brought in Aaron Rodgers. We made some big moves on defense, fortified the defensive line. Offensive line should be best it's been in the last 5 or 6 years with the resources we've invested in it. DK Metcalf trade, got Pickens out of here, bringing Jalen Ramsey. There's reason for hope. I think it would have been insane or there would have been no reason for hope if we just brought back Russ. Offense looks the same. We bring back Najee. We still got Pickens here. We make like a mid free agent signing for our wide receiver too. Defense, we just bring back Dante Jackson. We still have Minka here. Yeah, I think that would have been the insane thing to do, not what the Steelers actually did. The Steelers are taking a swing, a big swing, and it could be boom or bust, but so be it. This is where we're at as a franchise, and this is what we need to be doing. We need to be taking big swings. We need to be getting elite quarterback play in here. We need to be more explosive on offense. We need to have a better rush defense. We need to be more physical on defense. We need to be playing Steeler ball on defense, smash mouth football. That goes hand in hand with also even like the offense and setting the tone with the run game. And, with the Caleb Johnson draft pick and signing Kenneth Gainwell, bringing back Jalen Warren, we should be able to do that, especially with Arthur Smith as our offensive coordinator. But I'm going to have to disagree with this one. Like, here's the thing. I don't think, because he also said it'd be absolutely insane, just the thought of signing TJ Watt. TJ is a great player, a great Steeler, but it's insane to pay him anything right now. Absolutely insane. So he's saying paying TJ Watt would be insane, but also the Steelers for thinking that they're contenders are insane. Like the TJ Watt thing, you can have a debate about. I don't think it's insane to pay TJ Watt a big contract, a market-setting contract for an edge rusher right now. I don't think it would be insane given the moves that you made this offseason. That's the thing. I think it would be insane if we just ran it back, did the same thing, and then we just said, all right, let's just pay TJ all this money with Russ as our quarterback and us having no hope of actually going deep in the playoffs. That would be insane. But I think the fact that we made the moves that we did, we got a spark, we got a boost here, and then you're going to pay TJ. I feel like it goes hand in hand. Now, again, you could question how well TJ is going to age out of this contract that he signs into year 2, year 3, year 4. You could question that. I just don't think it would be insane to give TJ Watt $40 million right now. Is it the smart move? We could debate that. We could argue that. Is it smart move long term at least? Right now, I think it would be the smart move. I think it's something you just have to do. You put yourself in a spot, backs up against the wall with the Aaron Rodgers signing, the DK Metcalf trade, all these blockbuster moves that you made, that you got to have TJ Watt on this team. You really do. So I'm going to disagree with this sentiment here. But, I get what he's saying about the TJ Watt stuff because I've been questioning whether or not we should be paying him $40+ million. Just because the Browns paid Myles Garrett doesn't mean the Steelers have to. I've been questioning it. I wouldn't call it absolutely insane. And then I do think the Steelers have reason for optimism, reason for hope. And that's a good segue into the second thing that Patrick Rooney had to say about this Steelers team. He bashes the Steelers' decision, says Ravens will steamroll us this year. For whatever reason, there's been this narrative around the Steelers like we're going to go all in this year. What does that mean? Do you think even if you had Aaron Rodgers from 10 years ago, you're going to be able to compete with Joe Burrow and you're going to be able to compete with Lamar Jackson? I mean, yeah, if you're talking about Aaron Rodgers from 10 years ago, that's, one of the top 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league. This is the whole key to the NFL is winning your division. That at least gives you, Lamar. Here's the other thing: Aaron Rodgers from 10 years ago is better than Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, right? Is there any debate to that? This is the whole key to the NFL is winning your division. That at least gives you a modicum of chance to get to the Super Bowl. What in God's name does it make you think you're going to be able to compete with Baltimore and Cincinnati? Cincinnati's defense is terrible, but their offense is light years ahead of us. And Baltimore is just a better team. And I think they finally realized it by kicking the crap out of us in the playoff game last year. They're going to steamroll us this year. That's harsh, man. That's harsh. And I think he went too far with the Steeler bashing and, where we stand after our 2023 personnel moves and offseason turnover. Yeah, it's just too far. I think like there is reason for hope. There is reason to think, yes, we are in the same class as Baltimore and Cincinnati. How we finished better than Cincinnati last year. Now, you could argue at the end of the season what team was hotter, what team would the Chiefs or the Bills or the Ravens not want to play most in the playoffs between the Bengals and the Steelers. They'd probably say the Bengals. I get that. But, I mean, Cincinnati's defense is terrible. And is there any sign or any reason to think that Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart are going to sign before training camp or sign before the regular season? It doesn't seem like it. Seems like both sides are pretty stuck in their ways, both player and organization. And those would be, I mean, Shamar Stewart, I think he's overrated. I think he was overdrafted, but he was the Bengals' first-round pick. Kind of a big deal if he doesn't show up. Trey Hendrickson, since he's best player on defense over the last 2-3 years, kind of a big deal if he doesn't show up. So their defense being terrible is looking like it might even be getting worse somehow, some way if Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart don't show up. Like that does matter. Like let's not act like Cincy's defense is the reason why Cincy missed the playoffs last year, and it really didn't get better this offseason. Like Joe Burrow lit it up. MVP candidate. The stats were crazy. But they still went 9-8. It was a 10-7, 9-8, I think. They won the last 4 or 5 games, but they didn't make it. They didn't make the playoffs. And that defense ain't getting any better. Trust me. And I get their offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Higgins, all that stuff. Chase Brown, pretty decent running back. I get it. Like they got a good offense. They do. But I don't know, man. Like we made some reinforcements on the defensive side of the ball on our end to be able to compete with Cincy's offense. And honestly, even with how bad our defense was doing at the end of the season, didn't we only give up 19 points to Cincy in that last game? And in the first game we played them, I know it was a shootout, but that game was under wraps by the fourth quarter. At least we thought so. And then we let down, and Cincy did get back into it, make it a 1-score game. But like the defense actually, turnovers, splash plays in that first game looked halfway decent. And Steelers defense should be improved this year. It should be, based off what we did this offseason, right? Slay, Ramsey, get this TJ signing taken care of. Derek Harmon draft pick, Jack Sawyer, Patrick Queen, second year in the Steelers system, Peyton Wilson taking a step. So, I mean, listen, I don't think there's any reason why. There's no reason why, given the rosters, like roster for roster, why the Steelers shouldn't be in the same conversation as Baltimore and Cincy. Like, seriously. And the Aaron Rodgers, like, comparison, or the Aaron Rodgers anecdote here, like, quarterback for quarterback, and comparing what we got versus Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Cincy and Baltimore. Is it out of question that Aaron Rodgers plays at the same level of those two this year? Is it really that far out of question? And he's talking about Aaron Rodgers from 10 years ago, but I'm just even talking about Aaron Rodgers at 41 going on 42, given what he did with the Jets last year. 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. Now, if you're going to do the comparison from Rodgers last year to Burrow and Lamar Jackson, now Burrow and Lamar Jackson in their own right had great seasons, like statistical seasons, led their teams in a really great fashion. We know they're top 4 quarterbacks in this league. So I'm not going to do the Rodgers because of the 28 touchdowns and all, because I think Burrow and Lamar Jackson, they had 40-plus touchdowns. Whatever. Like, that's fine. But if you look at Rodgers last year versus other guys we consider in that top 4, like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes from a passing standpoint, Rodgers was right there. And it was a Rodgers down year with a bad organization with the Jets. Dysfunctional organization with the Jets. Rodgers is putting up numbers that are comparable to other guys in Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson's class. Now Rodgers is in a better situation, with a better organization, and should be healthier compared to last year, given it was his first year coming off that Achilles. The rust will be totally knocked off. Is it that far of a stretch for Rodgers to go from the 28 touchdowns last year and get like 35 touchdowns and single-digit picks? And then Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson with their stats, maybe they come back down to earth just a little bit, and they're in, the 30 touchdown range. So what tier are we talking about all three of those quarterbacks being in? Probably the same class, right? It's not like Rodgers would be that far below Burrow or Lamar Jackson if that's how the season plays out. And I don't think it would be that big of a shock. I've been talking about how Aaron Rodgers was a top 15 quarterback last year. And for the majority, basically all of Rodgers' career, he was a top 5 guy. Is it that far of a stretch for him to go from top 15 coming off an Achilles with the Jets organization to now he's with the Steelers and another year removed from that Achilles? Like all of a sudden he at least jumps back into that top 10. Not that far of a stretch. And that's what the Steelers are looking for. That's the differentiating factor, in my opinion. The differentiating factor between Cincy, Ravens, and how national media, how the mainstream media, or we'll just say the mainstream, like football analysis, all that type of stuff, how they view those teams or how they viewed those teams over the last like 2 or 3 years compared to the Steelers and being like legit threats in the playoffs. Like the difference is elite quarterback play. Push comes to shove. Like we haven't had these god awful rosters or anything like that. Now, is the defense disappointed at times? Sure. Offense, some of the guys that we've signed, have they disappointed? Sure. But push comes to shove. And that's one of the little secrets or one of the little things with the Steelers offseason and some of the trades we made. Oh, did the Steelers win or lose? Were they stupid for giving up Minka to get Ramsey, this and that? Push comes to shove. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to play at an elite level. If he's not doing that, then we don't have a chance anyway, right? But that's been the difference between the Bengals, Ravens versus the Steelers. It's just they're getting elite quarterback play from Burrow and Lamar, and we've been running through a bunch of different quarterbacks and not getting that consistent quarterback play that we've needed. So now that we have Aaron Rodgers, we got a chance, man. We do. It's not that far out of the realm of possibility that Aaron Rodgers returns to elite form. If he does that, yeah, we're completely in the mix with the Ravens and the Bengals. Because roster for roster, we got a nice roster. We've had a pretty nice roster. We need elite quarterback play. So yeah, I wouldn't discount Aaron Rodgers getting back to that level. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, and I was going to say the difference between us and the Ravens and the Bengals and, how the league or mainstream media views us as contenders, bringing up quarterback play is one of them. But I would even say, like last year, you could see towards like how we looked against the Ravens, like the defense, our defense faltered down the stretch. Those last 7-8 weeks, we were not our typical like top 10 defense, keeping us in games. We're getting carved up. No joke. I mean, we were getting out physicaled, out bullied. It was bad. Like it was bad. So that was, I would say, if you're looking at last year's wild card game, that was a differentiating factor. Not just quarterback, not just the Ravens had Lamar Jackson, we had Russ. It was also, we got manhandled. We got absolutely manhandled. So that was disappointing. But again, we made the reinforcements on defense from a personnel standpoint and the personnel that we brought in. And then we also brought Aaron Rodgers on offense. And we gave Aaron Rodgers some pretty nice weapons, I think, with Jonnu Smith, DK Metcalf, the running backs. Line should be good. Yeah, I think this is too far. Ravens will steamroll it. No, come on. Yeah, that was bad last year. The wild card was bad. It was. But we went 1-1 against the Ravens in the regular season. Got smoked against them in the wild card. We've traditionally, over the last 7-8 years, have done well against the Ravens, have done well against Lamar Jackson. So I would not say Ravens will steamroll us or the Bengals are in a different class than us this upcoming season. That is a foregone conclusion. Far from it. Far from it. I think we really put our hat in the race by bringing in Rodgers, by getting more explosive on offense, and by bolstering up the defense.